Hello everyone, good evening and welcome back to Swiflearn. My name is Annalise Benjamin and today we are going to be doing the second part of debate. We are on such a wonderful platform today, which is Swiflearn. It is India's most sincere online education classes, which is your one-stop destination. It has everything under one roof. From 100% live interactive classes to give your child the best, along with personalized batches where there are only up to 6 students, which gives your child a chance to interact with the teachers on a rather personal level. We have a dedicated academic mentor team as well who will be constantly in touch with you and track your child's progress over time. Swiflearn also covers the syllabus as per the school's exam schedule, which also handles custom requests. Some of our key features include, as I mentioned before, we have a detailed progress report. So the child, from the beginning to the end, their progress is calculated and it is shown to you how the progress over time. They have unlimited practice tests as well because practice is so important for them to improve themselves. There's even an academic test series which is available for the child, as well as subjective tests which are based on the school exams. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, as well as never miss any update from Swiflearn that comes. So today we'll be doing the second part of public speaking, which is your second half of debate. Before we continue, Lakshay, good evening. It's wonderful to see you here again. And yeah, let's dive right in. Today, we will be dealing with certain number of aspects. So we're going to learn how to structure your arguments while you are conducting a debate and how you have to maintain your stand throughout this argument, how you have to stick to your point. How do we formulate our own arguments using our own reasoning, our own logic, and how to focus on the topic. Never deviate from your topic, always focus it. And of course, we'll be doing a lot of examples and exercises as well. So let's begin. Oh, the other day when we did debate, we learned about the different rules that come under debate. So how a debate is structured right from the beginning till the end. Also, we discussed some useful steps as well, which we have to use while conducting a debate. I hope you all do remember it. So whatever you remember, comment below so I can even check on how much you remember, and then we can discuss that as well. So let's move it to the second part. Today, we're going to learn how do we present our argument. That means how we come across when we are having a debate. So firstly, last time we learned that we have to reply to somebody. During the rebuttal, we have to say something back to the person who is in the opposing team. If we have a positive response, that means if we agree to what they are saying, how do we go about with it? What do we say? The first thing that you can use is I strongly feel. Okay, you can say I strongly feel. You could even say I'd like to say. This is on a personal note because you are commenting as an individual. So when you comment as an individual, this is the best way to move ahead. You can even say, as far as I'm concerned, that means you are stressing on your own opinion. You are not taking it based on anything else. You are only talking about how you feel about this topic matter. You could even say, if it were up to me. That means if you had to change something, if you had to bring about some change, that's your suggestion over there. Next, you could say, I'm convinced that. You say, I'm convinced that when you are certain about a particular point, when you are sure about something. And you could also say, without a doubt. Without a doubt is usually said when, of course, you don't have a doubt, right? You have complete clarity in the situation. That's when you could use a term without a doubt. Okay, these positive reinforcements can be used during your rebuttal. They can also be used in your speech if you would like to use it in between to show that that there is a personal touch in your speech as well. Vaishnavi, hi, welcome. It's lovely to see you here. And now we are moving on to the negative comments. A debate is like two sides of a coin, right? You will have your positive side as well as your negative side. So we have to deal with both the sides of it. We've understood if we agree, what do we say? Now, if we don't agree, okay, if we disagree with what the person is saying, what do we say then? Okay, if we disagree, what will our comments be? It would be better if, this is very dominant, you're playing nice over here. That's why you would say it would be better if, because you are not trying to be aggressive in your comment. You're not trying to show that you know better than the other person. You are just, giving like a suggestion. Now, if you are trying to give your own comments on this, you would be like, have you considered? That means you're asking them if they have considered your opinion or your point of view, if they've looked at what they are saying from a different angle, from a different side. Okay. Then you could even use the term frankly, I doubt if. What does the word frankly mean? Frankly means you are being very honest, you're telling the truth. So you are saying that frankly, I doubt if you are correct. Okay, you're trying to put it across, saying that I don't think that what you are saying is right. That's what you're trying to convey through the statement. Next, you could say, but what about? But what about? Okay, very nicely you're telling them that, I want to add one more point to what you are saying. That's why you are going to use the word, but what about? Next is the problem with your point of view. See, now you're getting a little more aggressive with your comments because you are stating directly to the other person that there is something wrong with what they are saying. So you would say the problem with your point of view is the way somebody thinks, right? What they feel about certain situations or certain topics. So you are directly coming out and saying there is something wrong with the way another person thinks. And the last thing, when we have our negative comments, we could say, I'm afraid, but I don't agree. I'm afraid, I don't agree. This is a direct statement which tells the other person that I disagree with what you are saying. You are wrong. Okay? And listen to what my point of view is. Listen to what I am saying. Okay, so now we have dealt with negative as well as positive comments, which you can use while you are saying your speech, as well as you can use during your rebuttal. Okay, let's move on. Now, whenever you want to give reasons or explanations, now, last time when we spoke about this, we said that after every point or after every justification that we give, we need to have a strong supporting argument, right? Something which is above everything else and will leave a mark on your audience, will leave a mark on your opposition. That is your reason or your explanation. How do you go about with this? How do you tell them that this is what my explanation is? This is what I'm reasoning with you. I'm telling you my reasons. You could start like this. Let me explain. Very basic way of telling them that you are going to explain the point. You are going to explain what you said. Okay. Remember, these are based on what you have said. So you are explaining what you are talking about. You could also say on one hand or on the other hand. Okay. So you're comparing, you're doing a contrast between 2 points. You're saying on one hand, this is what I'm trying to tell you. On the other hand, this is another point. Okay. You're showing your knowledge. You're showing that you know a comparison between 2 points. The next way you could give a reason is, the reason I say that is, okay. Then you're just directly telling them that this is my reason. I want to state these points. As simple as that. This is very direct way of telling the other person. Now you're getting to the next part. The pros and cons of this idea are, okay, it's always better to put it out there that there are pros and cons of everything, right? Nothing is perfect, nothing is ideal. So the best way to communicate your point is to let the other person know that you are aware of the pros and cons. Okay, so nobody else can come back and argue with you saying that you have not mentioned this point. You are making your point very clear in favor of your topic. That's the whole point of the pros and cons of this idea are. Next, many people believe or many people think that. This is based on facts. Okay, we can't just say many people believe or many people think based on what we are thinking. No, this comes from your research that you do, or the reading that you do, that's when you come to a conclusion that a lot of people think the same way. And that's when you say something like this, like many people believe or many people think that. Okay. And the final thing, final point that you're giving, you would say, let's end on the point. Okay, you're giving your final point. Your final point has to be with full weightage, because this is like serving something on a platter. This is what they are going to remember throughout your debate, because it's your final point. It is what's going to remain in their mind throughout. Okay, now these were how do you go about with giving reasons or giving explanations. Okay, if you've not understood anything, please let me know so I can clear any doubts that you have. Okay, for now, let's move on. Now, the main part. How do you go about with your main body of your debate? Last time we discussed that we are obviously going to have an introduction, we are going to have some points, and we're going to have a conclusion, then we have your rebuttal. How do you go about with these things? Okay, let's go through it step by step. Now, firstly, the case or the argument. That means what you are going to say. So first of all, you need to know whether you are for the topic or you are against the topic, right? You will be in the team for the topic or you will be in the team against the topic. Once this is done, try to figure out your introduction. This becomes your outline of your entire debate. Once you are clear with your points or you are clear with what you want to say, your introduction will come out easily. It will be very smooth. Okay, so your introduction basically is like opening the gates towards a whole new world, right? Because it's that whole new world is filled with your opinions, your point of views, and your main points. Now, so once you start with your introduction, give a brief introduction. So suppose your topic is how pollution is disturbing our environment, right? It's causing chaos. So in your introduction, you would basically talk about how pollution is harmful for the environment and what are the different types of pollutions, and how it brings about a change in what our environment is. Okay, so that's your introduction. You're giving a background to what you are going to talk about later on. Because see, some people might not know what your topic is about, some people might not understand what your topic is about. So your introduction is giving them a brief summary about what this whole speech is going to be about. Okay, now after you do that, after you give your background information, you are going to support or defend your argument. So depending on whether you're in favor or you're against the topic, that's when you make that statement. You tell the audience, you tell the judges, you tell the panel who's in front of you that I will be talking in favor of the argument or I will be talking against. Okay, that is your case or your argument. That's your first step. Now we move on to the second step, which is your details and explanation. This is so important. I can't stress more on this point because it's very important for you to give details and explanation. There is no use if you have very valid points if you do not have a good explanation along with it. Your explanation is what builds up on your main topic, okay, your main point. You might have the best points ever, but if you don't have examples or you don't have proof to support that point is of no use. It'd be like just hanging in the air. And that's not what we want, right? We want to support that point. So in details and explanation, you are going to give extreme details about your point with examples and proof. So when I say details, I don't just mean define what your point is or just explain in your own words. No, you have to give examples and proof, because whenever you come with proof, that's how you win an argument. It's just like in court, right? Every lawyer requires proof to support somebody, to help somebody win. Same way, think of yourself as that lawyer. You need proof as well to support your argument. So that's what you have to do over here. You have to support your argument. Now, the next thing is your rebuttal or your counter argument. And this is the fun part, because all this while you were talking and people were listening. But this is where you really get to prove yourself, to prove that what you believe in, that your point is right. That's called your rebuttal or counter argument. In this, the other team is going to obviously ask you questions, right? They're going to try to create an argument to prove that your points are weak. That's when you argue back. Okay, you challenge what they are saying. Here all your background information, your background knowledge comes into the picture. Use whatever you have, try to bring in new points, bring in new arguments, new facts, and throw it across, because this is where you prove yourself. This is where you prove how much you know your topic. Okay, so that's your counter argument or your rebuttal. Remember, everybody gets a chance to counter argue, and so you need to have your points ready, you need to have your topic clear in your mind. The main thing, all these three steps will be easy if you have clarity on your topic, if you know what your topic is about and what you are standing for. It's as simple as that. You'll be able to ace a debate as soon as you get that done. Okay, I hope you've understood the three most important steps to create a debate. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, now let's hear a debate, which is, what is more important in life, creativity or knowledge? I'm going to play this for you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ishani and I am going to speak in an argument for knowledge.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Aman and today I will be presenting an argument for creativity.
Knowledge is an essential part of our overall development. Our knowledge also develops with us. Even though creativity is important for practically putting into use your knowledge, we need to have some prior knowledge to apply. It is one of them.
I would like to say that creativity plays a great role in our lives. On one side, if we take our imagination, it is unlimited and we can expand it to wherever we want and whichever way we want to mold it. But on the other hand, what we see or read, we can see that our knowledge is only limited to experience. If there is creativity, then there will always be new developments in the world.
Okay, did you hear that? About how they spoke to one another, in what manner, in what decorum was involved in their speech with one another. Okay, now let's.
Good morning.
Okay, now let's hear the debate between these two students. How do they argue with one another?
Welcome to the annual debate meet 2020.
Today's debate is on, should every student hire a private tutor?
Students get benefited through private tutors, as they get the educator's full consideration, and the lessons are exclusively made according to the student's need. Private tutors can take a shot at explicit impediments, which over and over again hinder learning. They can adjust to the kids' specific needs and learning styles.
In my opinion, hiring private tutor is quite expensive, and not everyone could afford it. Children can feel pressurized through private educational cost, as they may be excessively substantial, and feel segregated, without having any learning environment.
Okay, you heard the two students talking to one another. They're talking about whether private tutors are required for children or not. Okay, now let's look into what they have spoken about a little bit more. Their debate was, should every student hire a private tutor? Okay, that's the topic. The topic is, if every child who goes to school, every student should have a personal tutor for themselves. Now, if you are for the topic, how do you go about it? Let's read it out. Students get benefited through private tutors as they get the educator's complete consideration and the lessons are exclusively made according to the student's needs. See the point that has been put across, it has been explained. It's not only told that students require private tutors because it's personal. No, it's explained why it helps a student, why it helps the child improve on a different level than what it would do with a tutor who took a group. Okay, so that's your first point when you are for the argument that students should hire a private tutor. Next, we speak about private tutors can take a shot at explicit impediments which over and over again hinder learning. They can adjust to the kids' specific needs and learning styles. Every child has a different way of learning, a different manner of learning, because all children are not the same, right? So the private tutor will be able to analyze the way a child is and structure the learning techniques based on how that child is and how the child is expected to learn, how the child can learn. right? Because the learning style and learning techniques is going to be different for every child. So this is, if we were for the topic, we would be talking in this manner. But if we were against the topic and we don't agree that there should be a private tutor for children, this is how it would go about. In my opinion, hiring private tutors is quite expensive and not everyone could afford them. Okay. Now, the point being made here is so important because this is something that many of us have spoken about already, right? Because private tutors can be expensive for certain strata of people. They won't be able to afford having a private tutor. So there's no consistency in the education system, right? Because somebody can have a private tutor, somebody cannot. And some people cannot afford to have a private tutor because they can be very expensive. Next point that is made is children can feel pressurized to private educational costs as they may be excessively substantial and feel segregated without having any learning environment. Okay, so now what happens? If somebody has a private tutor, you feel pressurized that you also need a private tutor, right? Because you're getting some different, you might be thinking you're getting some different additional features which somebody else might not. So this is the point that is being made over here for and against a topic whether uh, every student should hire a private tutor. Okay, let's move on to the next point. The third point when we are for the topic is private tutors can help the children to provide them one-to-one basis education where they will focus on personalized practice sessions and various study skills. Okay, if children have a private tutor, obviously it's going to be one-to-one education. So the full focus is on that child and how that child should improve, right? So these practice sessions are going to be developed for that particular child that we are talking about, right? Also, study skills also are improved because the child will have a different way of studying. So the teacher, once a private tutor understands that concept, the tutor also will develop this the whole study material in such a way that it caters to the child's needs. The next point is private tutors are less formal and flexible in comparison to the school teachings or coaching classes, where you need to follow some rigid patterns when it comes to learning, which is not often matched with a student's pace. Now, if you in school or if you go for coaching classes, what happens is there's a huge group of children over there. The teaching is not done as per each student and how they understand. While some students will be able to understand just by reading what is on, in the book or on the board, while other students will take time to understand, they will read it again, then they will understand it in their own way. So each child has a different way of learning and a different pace of learning. Okay, some might learn really fast, some might take a little time, and some might be slow with learning, and that's absolutely fine. But in coaching classes and schools, this is not taken into consideration. The teacher will teach, okay, those who have understood, those who haven't. Now, but what happens in private tutoring? It is less formal. That means you can ask your doubts, you can make comments about what you've not understood as and when you want. It's very flexible. Okay, so you can, it is done the way the child is suitable for. So this matches with the way the child can learn, the child's ability to learn. Our next point is private tuitions. This is for against the topic. Private tuitions can kill the free space of pure learning and education. For many children, individualization could be pretty irritating as well. Learning in a group is a completely different experience, right? Because you're learning, not only learning from the teacher, you're also learning from one another. Because somebody might have some point to make which you might have not thought. So you're looking at it from a different perspective. That's what is pure learning. But private tuitions don't have that. And some children do not like the individualized training because they don't like the one-on-one process because they're not comfortable with it. So that's why they are against this topic. And the fourth point for being against private tuition, the point says private tuitions could be a little unsafe too. According to some parents, they also need to ensure about the tutor's complete background and personal behavior. So some parents feel that private tuitions could be unsafe for their children because you have to see the tutor's background as well. Have you noticed all the 4 points in both the sections? they are pretty detailed. They are not only making the statement and leaving it at that. No, there is a backup. There's a supporting, supporting argument which boosts your point, which helps your point sound better. That's the whole process of your debate. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Now, why? What whatever we've just read, whatever you've just heard, what do you think about it? Which side do you support? Do you support private tutoring, or do you support not having a private tutor? Whatever your examples that you have, or if you have any reasons to support which side you are favoring, comment below so I can read it out loud and we can discuss that. Hi, Savita. Would you like to tell me which point of view do you have? Do you like private tutoring, or do you not favor private tutoring? Okay, so some of us could agree that private tutoring is good. It depends on the student. If the student prefers private tutoring and they feel that it is affordable and they are comfortable with the teacher and they're comfortable with that form of learning, they should totally go for private learning. While some of us could disagree with that and say, no, private learning is not good and it's not advisable for students, because it's better if you learn with a group, you're learning together, you have more understanding towards the topic, and it is inexpensive. That means it's not as expensive as private tutoring is. Okay, now let's move on. We've already discussed our opinions and what we've heard. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do our own debate. Our topic is health, eating fast food. So I'm going to give you a few prompts. You can choose which side of the argument would you be on. Would you be for the argument or would you be against the argument? That means, would you be for eating fast food or would you be against eating fast food? Okay, I'll show you the prompts now. Our prompts are: prevention is better than cure, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, keeping an eye over your diet is necessary, regular body checkups are essential, you should stay away from excessive intake of fast food. Why don't you try writing your own points, and which side would you favor? Eating fast food or against eating fast food? Which side of the argument would you take? Would you say fast food is good or fast food is eating fast food is bad? What do you feel? While most of us are more inclined towards eating fast food, obviously because it's more tasty and we enjoy it, right? We enjoy burgers, pizzas, french fries, cold drinks, sweetened juices. This is something that we all love. And we feel that we should be eating them, but we also know that it's bad for our health. Now, as individuals, we know that we need to maintain a balance. But in a debate, even if you are against the topic, you have to speak in favor of what your topic is. Okay. If personally you feel that fast food is not good, but your topic that you have got is to prove that fast food is good, stick to it, maintain that, and continue moving in that order. Okay. If your topic is that fast food is good, tell them fast food is good. Okay, prove it to them that fast food. Tell them there is salad in your burger. You have cheese intake which is good, or there are vegetables on a pizza. This is what you have to prove to the opposition, that you are right, even though internally you know you're wrong. That's the whole part of your debate. Okay, even if personally you are against something, you have to prove it. You have to prove it to the opposition that you are right. Okay, now let's try one more. Okay, our topic is schools should conduct extra classes for every standard regular. Okay, extra classes which are held in your schools. That our topic being that regularly, on a regular basis, schools should conduct extra classes to help students who found a topic difficult, or to clear their doubts. So that's what the topic is: should schools conduct extra classes for the same? Whatever you all feel, whatever you all think, let me know. Then we can discuss it. Okay, so if you feel that you are in favor of this topic, and you think that schools should conduct extra classes regularly, you have to give reasons why. You'll start by saying that it helps students come to pace with everybody else in the class if they've had difficulties, or if they were unable to understand something. So everything happens in one place. Students don't have to go for extra coaching classes. So they are able to understand the concept in the class itself. Now, if you are against the topic and you say that schools should not conduct extra classes regularly, then you can see that it adds to the burden on the students, that they have to perform in normal classes as well as in the extra class, because in both the places they have been given work, both the places they have been told to do something, which becomes an immense pressure on the student. So that is the point of this topic, if you're talking in favor of the topic or against the topic. Okay. The word of the day is ecstatic. Ecstatic means to feel very happy, when you are extremely happy. Now look at how do we use it in a sentence? When a rainy day was announced, the students were ecstatic to miss a day of school. Oh, that's how we all feel, right? Whenever it pours heavily and the school announces a holiday, you feel ecstatic. That means you feel very happy. Or when you see chocolate ice cream, you feel ecstatic. You're happy to see chocolate ice cream. So you can use ecstatic in sentences like this, which mean that you are extremely happy about certain things. Okay. Oh, thank you so much for the whole class. If you have any doubts or anything that you would like to clear regarding what we've done today, Please comment below. We can talk about it now. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, everybody. It was wonderful to see you all here today. Hope to see you all soon next time. Thank you. Bye.